full night now to digest the news from yesterday's announcement, the $20 billion spend from the government. What is your biggest issue with it?
Well, look, it's a very mixed story for us, Pete, I've got to say. On the JobSeeker front, we know that there were many people who would have been distressed by the decision by the government to introduce that $300 per fortnight reduction from September. And of course, again, great uncertainty about what might happen now beyond Christmas, when at the moment the government's saying it has no further plan necessarily to provide any additional support. Now, look, reading between the lines, I think we've got the government acknowledging definitely that we could never now go back to the brutality of that $40 a day, which was the old Newstart rate. And I think we will see the government hopefully be prepared to work with us to bring through a permanent increase to JobSeeker. That's what's needed. This is the lifeline payment, Pete, for people who are dropping out of the workforce at the moment. Unemployment is going upwards. It's not going down at the moment. So it's really important that we deliver that kind of security and confidence for, well, it's now 1.6 million, isn't it, on JobSeeker? There's a prediction we'll go well over 2 million and post-September, when potentially a significant further job loss when JobKeeper starts to transition out. So these are connected arrangements, but in the end, if you don't have enough behind you, you will end up on JobSeeker to be able to keep the roof over your head, food on the table, looking after your children, all of this. And this is about really just allowing people to keep their head above water whilst we do everything we can to get through this health crisis and, of course, create jobs when we can safely and quickly do so.
Yeah, and those jobs are going to be tougher to find, particularly in regional areas where unemployment rates are significantly higher than they are in metropolitan areas. But are you encouraged by the fact that the Prime Minister did say yesterday that, you know, when JobSeeker ends at the end of the year, it's very likely, I think he said he's leaning heavily towards extending it. You must be encouraged by that?
Well, look, I'm very encouraged by the absolute wall-to-wall support from business groups, economists, the investment community, the Retailers Association, the union movement, community sector organisations, and most importantly, people directly affected, saying we have to get a substantial big increase to the JobSeeker payment permanently, so it's adequate to cover the basics. Yeah. I've got to say, we were hoping the government would deliver on that yesterday. This is the worry today for so many people is, if you've lost a job, you're obviously worried about how long is it going to take me to get back into the workforce. And we want to prevent long-term unemployment, people. We know we're in a recession now. We don't know what that's going to look like into the future. So there's a huge risk that we'll have some people for whom it'll be quite some time before you get your foot back in the door. So we're certainly saying to the government, this is the real safety net, the lifeline for people, and we've got to make sure it's the best spend, really, in terms of support for people, support for the economy. Dollars on that front are being spent by families on the basics: fresh fruit and vegetables, shoes, supporting local businesses. The detail of the data shows that this is the dollars being spent in the real economy, because people don't have any choice. They really need the money. Unlike what, for example, income tax cuts for people at the higher end, where at the moment people are modest, middle income and higher income, they're saving, aren't they? They're putting it away for that rainy day, because confidence is everything. People are trying to be cautious and careful. If you're in a low income, you just need to be able to feed yourself, keep the roof over your head, and that's where those dollars have been going.